I'm Tom, and let's have a quick conversation about AJ and how he's come out, or he hasn't, but Eddie Hearn has come out and said he won't be fighting until probably August, September time, which gives him a year out of the ring at this kind of stage of his career, which isn't positive. He said this is because he's got an injury to his hand. Hasn't specified what, obviously we haven't heard from AJ what. We did know there were some niggles that needed ironing out before he gets back in the ring. That's why he wasn't able to fight Dubois on February 22nd in the immediate rematch. That's also why he wasn't able to step in as a late replacement for Joseph Parker, right? Because he's got some niggles that need ironing out, some niggles that need sorting, needs to be freshened up, if you like. Now, what's the truth to this? Do I think there's truth to this? Yes. Do I think it needs to keep him out for an entire... I mean, we're talking quite a serious hand injury. For him to be out for the best part of a year, I mean, pretty much a year, we're talking a serious hand injury. Unless the niggles were something else, and he's then obtained this injury later on, maybe stepping back into training, stepping back into camp, the beginnings of camp, and then obtain the injury. Unless we're looking at that, this must be quite a serious hand injury. And you'd think, I know AJ doesn't like making excuses, right? And I get that. He doesn't like making excuses, but you'd think something would have come from somewhere. You know, we heard about after the Ruiz loss, AJ didn't specifically come out and say he wasn't feeling great, but it was obvious something had happened. And when he beat Povetkin in pretty lackluster fashion. AJ didn't himself come out and say that he wasn't feeling great, but we have since found out AJ had some form of illness. But no one's come out and said what is wrong with AJ, what he's got, why he's ill, what these niggles are, why he's out till August. That's the concerning bit. It makes me think it can't be that serious. Maybe he's kind of stepped back into camp, done some training, and then hurt his hand. But either way, being out for a year at this point of his career, he's what, 36 nearly? 35 years old, 36? You can't really afford to be taking entire years out. And look, maybe he's just trying to buy time to see what Fury's doing. And maybe Fury knows about these injuries, so he knows he's in no rush to come back from retirement, as he knows that AJ won't be ready for a few months yet anyway. But my question is, what is it? And I don't want to make excuses for why AJ lost to Dubois. AJ lost to Dubois because Dubois was the better man on the night. But I said going into the fight that it was strange to see AJ in the entire build-up wearing gloves, which I know that doesn't sound like much, but these are the things. Fighters will have a very strict routine that they'll stick to throughout fight week. Time after time. AJ, as an overthinker, will have a routine he will not want to change and differ from and vary from during fight week. He will stick to what he knows best. And I know it's just a pair of gloves, but we've never seen him wear a pair of gloves during fight week. And it wasn't just one day, it was all of fight week. He was wearing gloves the entirety of fight week, which we've never seen him do. And it's not like it was December, January, February. It was September. Like, it was strange to me. And I said, like, why is no one even commenting on the fact he's just wearing gloves? I know it's not a big deal, but, you know, you want to see his hands. You want to see his weapons, essentially. Do you know what I mean? His tools. Why was he wearing gloves the entire fight week? And this is something I said in the build-up to the fight. Why is no one questioning him on it? No one mentioned it. No one questioned him on it. And maybe I'm just looking too much into it. But I said that. And then afterwards, I'd also said he was wearing gloves the entirety of fight week. AJ, somebody who's meticulous at thinking, as I say, always has his hands up, always has his guard up when he's boxing, when he's fighting. Perhaps, you know, sometimes too much. For whatever reason, really early on against Dubois, who's a very dangerous puncher, drops his hands. Is that because his hands were hurting? Maybe Dubois' punches were beginning to hurt his hands? I'm not sure, right? But he dropped his hands, which is something I was like, okay, this is weird, especially given the fact he was wearing gloves in the build-up too. So did something happen to his hand during the training camp that we don't know about? He hasn't told us. No one's been made aware of. And then the punches during the fight made him drop his hands. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm looking too much into this. What I'd like to know is what's actually happened to his hands, what's wrong with his hands, why is he taking the time off, who's he expected to come back against, and actually when. Like, I'd like to know some more information, and this is very bland, and it doesn't look great. But people don't know your thoughts on this whole situation in the comment section down below. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe it's all just smoke and mirrors and a lie. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Make sure you leave comments in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, a comment, subscribe. You know how all this stuff works, people. Peace.